Good morning. So I got a question last week about the asteroid Eris and what my thoughts were on it. And I really love this question because Eris, I feel, has definitely been a contributor over the last few years to some of the many collective changes we've been experiencing. And this person happened to ask that question just as the Sun and also the other asteroid Pallas Athena were both conjunct Eris. So Eris is currently at 24 degrees of Aries, and she's been at 24 degrees of Aries for a couple of years now, and she'll continue to be at 24 degrees of Aries for a couple of years. So both Saturn and Pluto were squaring Eris a couple of years ago. Currently, there are no major planets in aspect to Eris except for Saturn, who's now making a sextile to Eris. So we should have some shifts in how we experience her. So her story or her myth in Greek and Roman mythology, which is where some of her meaning comes from. In Roman astrology, she was known as Discordia, the goddess of discord. And the main story that we have about her is that she was not invited to a wedding. That maybe sounds familiar for those of you who read fairy tales. And as her revenge, she took a golden apple and threw it in the middle of the wedding party. And the apple was inscribed with the words, "To the fairest of them all." So the goddesses Aphrodite, Athena, and Hera all wanted to claim that title, and they chose a young man, Paris, who some of you may have heard of, to choose which goddess was the fairest of them all. And this led to the beginning of the Trojan War, when Paris chose Aphrodite, and Aphrodite gave him Helen of Troy as a gift. So what I think is so interesting about this story is that although Eris had the desire to cause trouble and conflict, it was the goddesses themselves who accepted that invitation. So why I think this is so interesting is because conflict in and of itself is not problematic. It's how we deal with conflict that becomes the problem. So I think this current transit we're having from Saturn, of Saturn and Eris sextile each other, that there is the opportunity and the possibility, if we choose to accept it, to benefit from how we deal with conflict, particularly in regards to community, because Saturn is in Aquarius, the sign of community, and it's bumping up against Eris in a really actually creative and inspiring way. The sextile is like a gentle flame that brings creativity and kind of juicy new possibilities. Okay, so I look forward to hearing more